Hey, just a quick heads up before we get started. There is a free belief change planner you can download. It's a simple tool to help you work through and shift beliefs that might be holding you back. The link is below. That said, I would still stick around for this video because we are going to dive deeper into how beliefs actually work and how you can reprogram them to support the life you want. Let's get into it. How can you hack/code yourself to get what you want? First, we want to understand the human system. And when I say system, I mean how the human mind and body work as a complete machine, where everything has its own function, a system, with multiple different functions that yet complement and communicate with one another. Well, today, let's just take one part of this machinery that is not so well understood but still makes almost the greatest impact on our life. Like our heart has its own function. The most obvious one is to circulate and pump blood all over the body through blood veins. Of course, blood has its own purpose, like carrying oxygen, and oxygen has its purpose, and so on. The gut is responsible for cutting and spreading food, while the liver handles all the poisons. These are all systems that work together as a whole. An error in one system affects the other. So you want to have a perfectly oiled machine to make your own machinery perform at its best. We have senses that work in a certain way, and we have emotions that can already be measured in the body and how they affect different parts of the body, not only inside but outside as well. All these are equally important for sure. And mastery comes when you can take care of your system as a whole, the mind, a less obvious part of the system. Today I want to talk about something less obvious for some, which is your mind. To talk about the mind as a whole would take me many days to explain how I know it to be, but let's just take one part of the system responsible for maybe most of our life's outcomes. When I talk about the mind, I don't mean our brain. That is not where the mind is. When I talk about the mind, we want to understand that it is just as big as the outside world is. In some ways, the mind is something not physical as we perceive it. But of course, everything is physical in terms of vibration and energy. Even though we cannot perceive anything, if everything is physical on some level, then it must be non-physical at the same time. As above, so below. Science already tells us that you are more empty space than you are material. There are even arguments that everything that is physical was first mental. By mental I mean non-physical, and by non-physical I mean something we think of as nothing. But of course, that is only half the truth. The mental before the physical. If we hold to the idea that everything you see, hear, touch, smell, and taste is first created in the mental, maybe that is where we should also start. When a practical person changes the physical through physical acts, the mystical person goes straight to the source, the mental plane, and makes the changes there, letting the physical unfold. Neither is right or wrong, but the other is more effective. From the perspective of the outcome you seek, it is far better to realize your outcome in the mental plane before systems in the mind. Now, we want to understand that just as there are systems in the physical body and the world, There are systems in the mind as well. There are systems in how our thoughts are structured and how they affect our physicality. If we try to separate them, which I don't actually do, for one to truly understand, thoughts are something to be learned. I teach all of this and more in my books and courses. I recommend starting by getting the book called The Intention Game. Get what you intend. But before you do that, let's take one main operating system belonging to the mind, which is responsible for most of our life. So you can start realizing how to get things going the way you want. One of the main purposes of every system is to effortlessly communicate with every other system so they can cooperate. Once every system works as a whole, life becomes smooth and enjoyable. A demonstration of systems at work. The easy way to demonstrate this is when you hold your hand up and think to move your finger. If your finger does not move, or if your hand slaps you instead, the communication between systems is broken. Maybe it's somewhere in your brain or your nervous system, or maybe in your muscles or your mind, or maybe it's broken in many ways. But when systems like that communicate together and respond correctly, your finger moves just the way you intend it to move. So let's not take this lightly. Although so many systems we are not aware of, with intention we can become aware. And not only aware, but also fix all kinds of broken systems. One system that governs many others is our beliefs. And there is a lot of talk about beliefs, but I want you to understand how they run the show of life. Many understand that a belief is something you believe to be true, right? But that is only the surface level of a belief, because there is a whole system with its own parts that creates a belief. A belief in some way or another dictates the reality as you know it. The nature of beliefs. You can think of belief like a base code. A belief, or actually multiple thousands of beliefs, makes you who you basically represent yourself to be. Another way to say it is that your belief creates your personality, and your personality creates the life you are experiencing. So there is a belief that affects personality, and personality affects personal reality. How does a belief run your life? A belief has a structure, so it can be formed as a belief. And most people understand only the surface level, but not how it is constructed. Before we go there, let's see how a belief works. A belief, aka something that a person believes to be true, is a worldview, and in many cases a personal opinion based on experience that dictates the worldview of that person. A belief can work on behalf of a person, against them, or even do both at the same time. A belief serves a person and enslaves them. Maybe the fastest way to change your reality is to change how you believe about something. Let's take a couple of examples. Common beliefs. Money can't buy happiness. Money makes people bad. Whenever money comes in the door, it goes out the window. Time is money. Personal beliefs. I'm like my parents. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. No one is happy all the time. No pain, no gain. Hard work pays off. Work is not work if you enjoy it. Less is more. Social beliefs. Good friends are hard to find. The future doesn't seem good. I am this way or that way. These may seem like normal statements, and even the person who says them casually doesn't actually realize the power behind their words. Words shape reality. I always say that if you want to change the world, change the words you are saying. Like it is said, I told my people they can have whatever they want, but they just keep saying what they have. What is a belief? A belief is something you have formed through experience, learned through repetition, or simply assumed to be true. A belief reveals itself in the form of a thought, and normally we recognize our thoughts through our words. Language and beliefs. There are at least two ways our language reveals a belief. One way a belief is formed is by saying something is or are. Life is, people are, men are, politicians are, I am, money is. In this way, language not only reveals how someone thinks and constructs their reality, but also combines two things together. Many times these two things have nothing to do with each other. But in a person's belief system, they have everything to do with one another. This way of forming a belief puts two things into the same box, and it can be a limiting way to think about things. Limiting and beneficial beliefs. We can categorize beliefs as limiting beliefs and beneficial beliefs. And in many cases, a belief can be both at the same time. It serves and enslaves. It limits and opens possibilities. Even believing that everything in life is possible can be a limiting belief. Why? Because the person who says that gives as much power to bad things happening as good things, you see? Although they may mean well. A person who says, only good things happen in my life, may limit all the negative. But that can actually be a positive thing, you see. Example, money and beliefs. Let's take some common examples, like when someone says, money is evil. If someone says this, it might in some way affect how much money that person is going to receive in their lifetime. I've had a friend who used to think that money makes people act badly. Now, what do you think? How much money can this person receive if they believe it's going to turn people bad? Of course, it's always a different thing when you have the money. It's always the other people, not me. But unconsciously, this kind of thinking can limit the amount of money someone can have. Conflicting beliefs. There can also be other beliefs pushing the person to make money because there can be hundreds of different beliefs. And some can work against each other. For example, someone could have the belief, I'm always lucky with money, and also believe money is evil. If these were the only two beliefs about money, they would be pulling each other back and forth. Or they could even make each other stronger. Values and beliefs. It depends on a person's value system. Let's say a person is highly religious and their main value in life is to be a good person above all else. They may unconsciously block themselves from making a lot of money because they believe money turns people bad. So they try everything they can to get rid of money before it turns them into a bad person. The opposite effect. Now, someone else with a different value system might have beliefs that enforce each other, and the person gets really rich. Every time they get richer, they become more evil just because of their belief system. So, of course, a belief like money turns people bad is not beneficial in any way. A better belief would be the more money I have, the more good I can do in the world. Or money is the root of all good. Cause and effect beliefs. Another way a belief can be formed is by saying that something causes something. For example, I knew a guy who used to say, every time money comes through the door, it goes out the window. He had this belief that money is hard to keep, but easy to make. In his life, he made over 250,000 in every single month. But every time the money hit his bank account, he went crazy and spent it as fast as he possibly could. In a week, he was out of money and even had bills to pay from the things he had just bought. His home was full of unopened boxes and unnecessary things, breaking the pattern. When he realized that this belief was something his father always used to say, he became aware of it. At that moment, he immediately dropped the belief. Believe it or not, he stopped throwing all his money away and became a wealthy person. The power of awareness. Sometimes it happens just like that. When you hit the right belief at the right time and the person is ready to change or gets evidence of a better way of believing in things. How beliefs work. The base code or foundation is the belief and it runs the outcomes in our life. A belief creates our personality, and our personality creates our personal reality. When you change how you believe, your personality and personal reality change as well. How to identify and transform beliefs. The two main questions here are: how does someone identify all of their limiting beliefs? And the second one is, how can these limiting beliefs be transformed into positive, beneficial beliefs that enhance life beyond imagination? Think of a belief as a code that is always running and shaping the way you operate. If there are old codes that no longer work well, why not become the coder and update your mental operating system? The first step, awareness. In my experience, the first step is becoming aware of what you think. Start listening to yourself whenever you talk. In casual conversations, listen to the words you are saying. You will start to notice patterns that reveal how you believe life works, truths that you have assumed to be real but are actually beliefs. Listen to your external words, your internal dialogue, and even the emotions tied to your thoughts. This practice of awareness is the first step toward gaining freedom from limiting beliefs. A simple exercise to reveal beliefs. There is another way to reveal your beliefs, both positive and negative. This is a process that requires only a pen and a paper. I highly recommend you do this exercise right now because, as they say, there is no time like the present. Step 1. Identify what you don't like. Take out a large sheet of paper or use your phone, whichever works best for you. At the top of the page, write the headline, "Everything I don't like in my life." Now, make a list of absolute everything you don't like about your life. Be thorough. Include big and small details, such as I don't like being poor. I don't like my job. I hate certain situations or people. I don't want X or Y in my life. I dislike cockroaches or dirty places. Spend as much time as you can on this step. Squeeze every ounce of negativity onto the paper. No detail is too small. Step 2. Flip the coin. Once you have completed your list, the fun part begins. For everything you have written, flip it around to its positive opposite. For example, I don't like being poor becomes I want to be wealthy. I don't like my job becomes I want a fulfilling career. Write a new headline next to your original one. I want. Go one by one through your negative list, flipping each item into its positive counterpart. Why start with negativity? You might wonder why we begin with negativity instead of going straight to positivity. The reason is that negative acts as contrast, revealing your deeper desires. The contrast provides clarity on what you truly want. The real work begins. Now that you have two lists, what you don't want and what you want, the real work starts. Take the first item from each list. Example, I don't want to be poor and I want to be wealthy. And dig deeper into the belief behind it. Step 3, ask why. Ask yourself, why don't I have what I want? Why don't I have wealth, success or happiness? Let your answers come to the surface. Write them down. These answers will reveal the beliefs you currently hold about the topic. For example, if your answer is because I don't know how to make money or because I don't have the right connections, these are limiting beliefs. And step 4, identify what it takes next. Ask what needs to happen for me to get what I want. Write down your answers. I need a good idea. I need to learn new skills. I need to meet influential people. These need statements are crucial. They show what you believe must occur before you can achieve your desires. Step 5. Challenge the beliefs. Now, ask yourself another critical question. Why is achieving this goal hard for me? For example, why is making money hard? Why is finding love difficult? Write down your answers. I have to work too hard. I need to be smarter. It takes years of effort. These answers uncover the barriers you have unconsciously set for yourself. Busting myths. One common myth is that you must always feel positive to achieve success. This is simply not true. There are rich people who are miserable and happy people who are poor. Positivity is about enjoying life, not necessarily about achieving specific outcomes. Being happy while working toward your goals make the process more enjoyable, but it isn't required for success. Money as energy. Let's use money as an example. Money is just energy. It's numbers on a screen, paper in your wallet, or coins in your hand. Numbers never end, so money in theory is limitless. Think about money this way. It's a value of exchange, real or imagined. It doesn't vanish, it only changes form. For example, an apple you eat doesn't disappear. It transforms into energy in your body. Similarly, money doesn't disappear. It simply moves and changes hands. Step 6. Make a decision. Look at your positive list. Take one statement like, I want to be wealthy, and mentally decide, I'm going to be wealthy, but only if it's best for everyone involved. Write this decision down next to the statement, even if you don't know how it will happen. Vividly imagine how it feels to achieve it. Step 7. Plan for success. For every goal on your positive list, write down what you will do once the goal is achieved. For example, after I become wealthy, I will donate to charity. Once I find my dream job, I will help others in similar situations. This step activates your brain in a new ways and creates a powerful mental connections. The key to transformation. This process helps you go beyond old beliefs, transforming them into a new reality. It's like the metamorphosis of a butterfly. Your old self evolves into something new and expansive. Remember, energy never disappears, it only changes form. Embrace every change, knowing that even negative experience can turn into positive outcomes. This is the paradox of life, and by understanding it, you can hack your system to get what you truly want. And just a quick reminder, if you are ready to start shifting your beliefs, grab the free belief change planner. It's a great way to put what we have talked about into action. The link is below. Go ahead and check it out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.